Dear Ethereans, or just all humans in general, or anyone, please stop buying from fast fashion industries. Hello, my name is Mars, my pronouns are he, they, and I've awakened about 2 years ago. And I've seen it a lot with humans, especially amongst Ethereans, young Ethereans, that it's almost become a trend to dress a certain way, and a lot of people do that by buying the clothes from fast fashion industries, especially from places like Shein. And it's not just about clothing, but also about like buying tails from like Shein or Amazon or whatever. And in case you already know what the problem with fast fashion and with those tails are, you can skip to about here, which is where I'll explain how you can get clothing that doesn't support fast fashion. So, in case you don't know, there are many different reasons why you shouldn't support fast fashion. So, the clothes from fast fashion shops are not made to last. As the name already says, fast fashion, it's supposed to be something that changes very quickly with the trends. And since trends change so quickly, people tend to buy new clothes very quickly too. And not just because people always buy new clothing, but also because those clothes are usually just not made that well. It produces a lot of waste. It gets thrown away very regularly. And those clothes are made from bad materials, like as in they're bad for the environment. Because when they get thrown away, it's just like with normal trash, it often ends up like in nature or in the ocean. And because those fast fashion clothes end up polluting the ocean with microplastics. The production of those clothes are often also very bad for the environment because so many materials are being used in this mass production just to make the people happy and be able to wear whatever fits the current trend. Not just that, but the workers, the people who make the clothes, are in very bad environments. They are not safe at work and they get hurt very easily. Child labor also plays a big part of this because young children are either being forced to work or they have to work because otherwise the parents or the families don't have enough money to even survive. And the workers, they don't even get the money that they deserve. It's just the wealthier countries exploiting them. It's just capitalism at its finest. Online stores like Shein are the worst in that case. They are also the most likely to steal the designs of smaller businesses and small creators. And now, in case you don't know, it's not just clothes that are bad, but stuff like tails. I've seen many Syrians buy tails off of Amazon, off of Shein, off of Temu, just anything like that. Oftentimes, these shops say that the fur is fake fur, when in reality it's not, because they are allowed to lie to you. And the problem isn't that it's real fur, but that the animals who died from this, well, they didn't die from natural causes. They were not only killed, but they were also held in just terrible conditions. They live in cruel fur farms where the only purpose is to get turned into an accessory. If you really want a fake tail, then please be careful that it looks fake, because most tails that look real are real. I've never seen a tail that was fake that looked real. Because if it moves like this, it's probably real. But if you want a tail that looks realistic, if you want a real tail but don't want any animals to be harmed, then please go on Etsy or any similar site and search for ethical taxidermy, because usually those animals died from natural causes. An example for ethical taxidermy would be this tail. It's my prettiest tail, and I've never bought one from a cool fur farm. And so, as you can see, it looks very realistic because it's real, but it also wasn't shapen or dyed in any way, because that's also what cool fur farms often do. Now, I'm sure many people have the question, but how do I get cool clothes that don't support fast fashion? It's actually pretty simple. So, first of all, obviously, there's thrift stores. Not all of them are super cheap. If you're lucky, you might find a cheap one because, for example, I've got my leather jacket for only €6, which is very cheap. But even if you don't have any cheap ones near you, if you've got the money, it's still better than supporting fast fashion. There's also always the opportunity to just ask your relatives or neighbors or friends if they have any old clothing that they don't need anymore. And obviously, there's also charity shops. Now, if none of these work for you, then I totally wouldn't recommend you to steal from a fast fashion store. Because why would you want to do that? That's so bad. Nuh-uh, we don't do that. Now, if that really doesn't work for you, then maybe you have some old clothes that you can just upcycle. Or if you don't find anything super cool in like thrift stores, you can also just upcycle that. Or you can sew something. There are a bunch of tutorials online. And if you really can't find one that works for you because they're too fast or too hard, or you just can't find the one that you need, then you can ask me. I'm taking commissions for tutorials. Obviously, I'm not perfect, so I can't make like huge dresses or anything like that. But if you have any questions on how to make something look cooler, or there's an accessory that you really like but don't know how to make it yourself, or maybe you just have some fabric left over and don't know what to do with it, I can help you. I can try at least. For example, I've made these cool leg warmers. They look kind of cool. They're not perfect, obviously. Or I could teach you how to make patches or how to make pins yourself. I can just teach you the basics of sewing, whether it's per hand or per sewing machine. I can teach you the basics of crocheting, possibly. I can give you tips and tricks on how to make cool designs or how to make stuff easier for you if you already know what you're going to do. I can show you how to make something without a tutorial. But obviously, I can't promise that I'll know how to make everything. I'm not that good yet. So yeah, if you have any questions about the topics that I talked about, or if you have any requests for tutorials, then you can ask me in the comments. So yeah, thank you for listening and stay fluffy, guys.